Hi, Professor Calderon here again. All right, so I got the book right here in front of me. The visual story. It's backwards for you guys. Anyway, and these are the basic visual components that we're going over on chapter 1. And these visual components they're very basic. The first one is space. They are space, line, shape, tone, color, movement, and rhythm. Okay, so space. When we talk about space, we're not talking about the giving someone their space. Okay, he makes a distinction here. We have three different types of space. Okay, three different kinds. There's the physical space in front of the camera. So right now there's a camera right here in front of me. I'm touching it, boom, 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 right there, and it's about maybe 1.5 feet away from me. So in the real world, I'm standing in the room, and the camera is 1.5 feet away from me. So that's called real world space. Okay, real important. And then the next one he has up here is the space as it appears on the screen. Right. So on the computer or your iPad or your phone, whenever you're watching this video on, you're watching this on the screen. That screen space is also the term of space that we're going to talk about, discuss. And the third space is the spatial size of the screen itself. So if you're watching this on an iPhone, the screen is about maybe 4 inches, 3 inches. If you were watching this video on an IMAX theater, it'd be a 2-story tall screen, right? Some people may be watching this on a laptop. Then the screen could be like something like 10 inches, 12 inches. So the size of the screen itself, the actual dimensions of the frame, is a notion of space. That's the third one. Okay. The next concept that we need to know is line and shape. When we talk about lines and shapes, these are what are called perceptual facts, meaning they can't touch them. They only exist in our heads. Okay, so they're perceptual facts, and the visual components allow us to see these perceptual facts. So, for example, the first one, line. I've pointed this to you guys before. If you look at this, see in this video, this corner of the wall right here, right there, there's a line going up and down, and then it intersects with this line, right? And then it comes up to that one. That's a line. It's a perceptual fact. Okay. And you cannot discuss shape without line, or you cannot have shape without line. They go hand in hand. So that's why we have line and shape together. So, and the shape refers to the actual shape of an object. Okay. Shape of the pen, right? It has a shape. There's another shape. It looks like a cylinder now, or a dot. Okay. There's a shape there. All right. Here I have a hard drive, and it has a rectangular shape, right? And the borders along this shape, right? We perceive that as a line. It's a perceptual fact. We only perceive it as a line. There's physically no line here, right? No one has come on the screen and on the backside of whatever you're watching this on and drawn a line on something, right? That line that we see here in the corner of the wall, it's not something I drew there, right? It's actually, you see it, it's a line. It's a corner in the wall. But because of the visual components, we are able to perceive that as a line, right? So when we see lines, some of them, right, that little node in the back of our head. Remember we talked about that? When we see certain lines, we assume shapes. Okay, we build upon those lines to create shapes. All right, the next component is tone. And tone is the easiest one. It refers to the brightness of an object. All right, and it relates to the grayscale. So when we see, I'll post an example of the grayscale in the notes for you. But when we see a grayscale, it's nothing but a gradient going from dark to light. Matter of fact, we do have a right here. This is the grayscale. Okay, so when we talk about tone, we're simply talking about the grayscale. Okay, the next thing we have is the obvious one, color. Color is probably the one we think we know most about, but it's also the one that sort of gets stereotyped the most. So when we see red, uh-oh, danger. So we have color. Color is one of the basic components. Also, another basic component is movement. Okay, and movement occurs in objects, right? We have object movement, meaning like, let's say, that same hard drive, that same rectangle or square is right now it's moving, right, simply across the picture plane, right? So that's an object movement. But then we also have camera movement. Right here, the camera's moving. Okay, so that's movement. Any movement on screen attracts the attention of the eye. Right? That's that little stamp, that little node activating us to get something's moved and it gets our attention. The next thing we have is rhythm. This is the final basic component. Rhythm. And it's not so much the rhythm that we hear, right? There's a rhythm. The rhythm we're talking about is the rhythm we see. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in a moving object. A stationary image can have a rhythm to it, right? So we're going to get into that much deeper. Actually, all these basic components now that we know what they are, we go deeper into them for the next 6 weeks. All right? See you in the next video.